Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Danger Zone podcast, the very first episode of the Danger Zone podcast. I am Devin Dunnigan, and here with me from the Freeform Rock podcast is Mr. Marc Alden Taylor and Mr. Lee Gerstmann. How you guys doing out there?
I'm doing great. How about you, Lee?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good about this podcast because you say it's called the Danger Zone. I can get pretty dangerous, so hey, I'm in good company.
Oh yeah, when he gives you those 1970 albums, man, they're pretty dangerous.
Yeah, especially when I don't like a song and I smash the album and then it gets cracked and cut, and then I wave it around saying, "Stay away from me! You don't want to." You don't want to feel the edge of a 1970s suck album.
But yeah, I listened to like the 461 Ocean Boulevard review that y'all did, and I was surprised at your opinion, Marc. I figured you may like that album, but
I liked half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that's one thing with me with his early stuff. Some of that stuff, like I gravitate more to like the late 70s and 80s and 90s stuff. That's kind of where I kind of elevate to, I guess you could say. But this is the first episode of this podcast. This is going to be just a podcast where I have different guests on at different points when I record. I'm not going to say this is going to be an every week deal, but just kind of more sporadically. Maybe it'll be a couple in a row or several in a row, whatever. But just something I want to do something on my own. Of course, I have the Dunnigan Mott Music and Movie podcast. If you haven't listened to that, please do. And I have my YouTube channel on the Danger Zone Reviews, which I've done all kinds of album and movie reviews and stuff like that on there. But with the first episode here, we are going to be talking about the 1986, the debut full-length solo album or studio solo album by David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile, released on July 7th, 1986, produced by Ted Templeman. And just overall, to me, I mean, it's been coined before, the term has been coined for this album that it's the lost Van Halen album. And I tend to agree with that. I think this is classic Van Halen without Van Halen even being in the actual band. And I mean, a lot of these tracks I actually think would have been very interesting to hear Van Halen either re-record some of these tracks for something, or either perform them live at one point or another. That would have been very interesting in my opinion. But I guess, I mean, I discovered Diamond Dave through Van Halen, and I mean, this was, I think, my first solo David Lee Roth album that I actually heard. But after this, I actually heard Your Filthy Little Mouth. My father had it on cassette, and I like that album. It does have some problems here and there. I think some of the material on it is weak, and but lyrically, I do think Dave is there throughout that whole album, and I mean, I think it's a pretty good album. But this album, I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've always told myself I got to listen to that album, Your Dirty Little
No, you
Mouth.
don't. No, you don't.
And I never do. I never listen to it.
Dude, I bought that CD when it first came out, and I lied to frickin' Musicland to return it and got Scorpions Worldwide Live. I freaking love She's My Machine, and then the album went down from there.
Oh, okay.
And
Travis Tritt.
Go ahead.
Travis Tritt. Come on, man. Country song.
Oh, I actually like that track quite a bit.
Okay, that's cool. Everybody has their own opinions. I'm not doubting you for liking it. It's just my opinion. I think it's trash.
Oh, I understand. Listen, I get the hate for that album. I mean, there is like She's My Machine is pretty close to classic Van Halen as he really kind of gets on that album. But I mean, I kind of like it when Diamond Dave kind of went kind of more of a bluesier direction. I like Nightlife was good on that album, Land's Edge, Sunburn, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love his blues stuff. I love it when he goes bluesy. That's
Yeah.
cool. But when he goes country and then he does some weird shit on that album, it's like maybe 3 songs I like off that album. I like the DLR album. Now that's dated to me.
Yeah,
That's a great album.
And that album, though, I mean, his voice was kind of shot, but I mean, it was only really when he tried to strain his voice a lot is when it kind of really showed. But he mostly, for the most part on that album, he kind of kept a lower register on a lot of those songs and kind of just sung the lyrics without really trying to strain.
Yeah, kind of like, and now I walk with you, my baby, la-di-da-da. We're going somewhere and we're going to have a party, la-di-da-da. Like that, maybe.
Yeah. But,
I'm talking from someone who hasn't even heard the album, so what do I know?
Sounded like you were trying to sing La Da Da by Journey there.
Ew.
You don't like that album either?
I like that song. I think I do. Is that Infinity?
Yes.
I like some of it a lot.
Or Departure, one of the two.
I keep forgetting if I heard Departure. I think I always fell asleep before I gave my opinion.
Well, I think Rolly was on both those albums. I like the Greg Rolly era.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
But, but I like, for the most part, I like all of Diamond Dave's solo stuff. Diamond Dave had some good stuff on it, but I mean, to me, that one was kind of under the radar because, like, it was mostly a covers album. But I liked a lot of stuff on there. Like, he did a version of Soul Kitchen, If 6 Was 9, and he done one track. It was an original song called Thug Pop, and I think he did that one. I think it was written with John 5, and it's by far the best song on that album. It's very Van Halen like, and it's just a great track. But
yeah, I want to hear the unreleased album that he did with John 5. We're still waiting for that one.
Definitely, I want to hear that. I heard like the snippet that I can't remember.
John 5 put it up.
Yeah. And it was an interview with John 5, and he played like a snippet of the song, and it was a very good song. But and I mean, I'm interested. Hopefully after a while he puts that out, because supposedly there's like several sessions that he did with Van Halen in between, like him kind of leaving in 97 or whatever after that big debacle with the reunion and everything else, and then Gary Sharon coming in. Like he supposedly went to the studio with them or something like that and did some tracks, but I don't think anything ever was released. But
yeah,
I mean, with other Diamond Dave's albums, Skyscraper is one for me. I like some songs on it, but the production kind of kills it for me on that album. I think it's a little bit too polished.
Loverboy-ish.
Good stuff.
It's too Loverboy-ish.
Maybe that's why I like it, because I love Loverboy. And I saw him on that tour. So
yeah. But I like that album, but I mean, it's just the production. And I mean, A Little Late Enough has got some good stuff on it, but I think it's kind of the purpose. I mean, it's kind of the fact that Bob Rock was the producer, which I like a lot of Bob Rock produced albums, but I think I had like some problems with the mix of the drums. I really think he should have went back with Ted Templeman on that album and
yeah.
Because it was a kind of a return to form after Skyscraper kind of came and went. But that album, I mean, by that point, I think grunge had came in and kind of all of that. I mean, like early 91 was kind of, you still had that, but I mean, after that point, which I mean, I have room to be talking because I was born a whole decade after the fact. But I mean, from my outlook and stuff I've researched, I kind of saw that the album kind of went into obscurity by kind of the movement of grunge and stuff like that. But
I bought it.
Let's get back to the actual album we're reviewing. Man, I do this all the time.
I was going to say this is kind of interesting. The idea is we're going to review an album by a group that has 20 different studio albums, and all you do is you talk about all of them except that one. And then when people say, "Hey, why didn't you talk about that one?" You go, "Can't you understand? We didn't talk about it because it sucks." I'm kidding.
I don't think this album sucks at all.
No.
But I mean, get back into it real quick. The lineup on this album is Billy Sheehan. He would later join Mr. Big. I don't know what he was in prior to this. Do you guys know?
Yeah, Talus.
And there's a Talus song on this album, actually.
Shy Boy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He's redoing it right now, I heard. He's like, he's bringing Talus back together. He's in so many bands right now. He's in like the Winery Dogs. He's in, I don't think Mr. Big is getting back together after the death of Pat Torpey. But he's in that. He's in fucking that other band with Mike Portnoy and what's his name? I have their album. I can't remember now.
He needs to bring Eric Martin in Talus because Eric Martin is good. And it's just
Eric Martin rules except his solo albums.
Well,
okay, his cover albums when he did The Heart Must Go On, Must Go Away.
I haven't heard that, but
yeah, you don't want to.
His old stuff. Okay. But his old stuff with like Sucker for a Pretty Face.
That's a good album. I like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's from my period.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I tend to ramble on too.
Sorry, Devin. We interrupt each other. Sorry.
I was fixed to say. I said it's like I'm on an episode of Freeform now.
Hey,
we don't want to take
cool.
over. It's just our.
But at least we
our
don't
opinions
have.
Are pretty strong.
At least we aren't going to be held responsible for it. We're saying no. We're on Devin's episode. That's why
it's
we
all
were
your
acting
fault
like this.
if it sucks.
It's okay.
But also, I mean, Billy Sheehan, extraordinary bass player, and Greg Bissonette. I'm not sure what band he was in prior to this either. I think he was kind of I guess you could say kind of a session man prior to this or whatever. He was a pretty, I understand,
he's a touring and session recording.
Yeah,
he was
David Lee.
He was drummer in many jazz and rock bands. So go ahead.
I had heard that David Lee Roth said that he heard him in Maynard Ferguson Big Band, and so I tried to find the Maynard Ferguson Big Band stuff he was on, and I couldn't find one damn song.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty. That band may be real, but I mean that is Diamond Dave talking though.
Yeah. I mean, no, Maynard Ferguson did have a band. It's just that maybe Greg Bissonette played drums during a concert and not on an album. Yeah,
but I mean, and also going back to Billy Sheehan real quick. Billy Sheehan it's came out now that Eddie Van Halen actually wanted him to replace Michael Anthony, I believe around Fair Warning or something like that. And
wow,
I can understand why, but I mean, come on now. I mean, Michael Anthony, I mean, to me, I mean, Michael Anthony's one of those guys. I mean, he just goes out and he does his job. I mean, he doesn't really mess with anybody. He's just a class act all around. And I mean, if he's not doing anything, why get rid of the guy? I mean, I've never understood that.
And he's got a good hot sauce, I hear. Anthony's hot sauce.
I tried to buy it, and for some reason the order didn't go through. I'm going to have to try and buy it again now while I still have money before I spend it all.
Dude, if you listen to Chicken Foot or The Circle, you hear Van Halen in his voice. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, I mean, talking about Chicken Foot, I've never actually heard any Hagar album, like his solo stuff in its entirety, or like Chicken Foot or The Circle. I've just heard like tracks here and there. The Van Halen albums, I've actually heard in its entirety. I like the first Montrose album. I thought the first Montrose album was really, really good.
Hell yeah, man. Do you want to replace Marc in our podcast? Just kidding. Or it's okay.
I'm just saying you should go listen to the first Chicken Foot. That album is amazing. It also has freaking Joe Satriani and Chad from the Chili Peppers. It's a great album, dude. And so is Chicken Foot 3, which is the second album, but they called it 3. But it's a great album too.
Yeah.
But,
I plan to actually hear them. It's like that David Lee Roth album. I haven't. I've tried to hear the first Chicken Foot album, and for some reason, I guess someone knocked on my door, and then when they said hello and I closed the door, I forgot to put the album back on, and it's been years.
Down the Drain, Sexy Little Thing, freaking Turning Left. It's a fucking great album. I love it.
I did hear like the new song from, I believe it's the Circles album, Trust Fund Baby. I heard that. That was an okay track.
The whole album is good too. I have that album. And their live album where they do some Zeppelin. They do like basically anything that those people were in. You know, like they do they do Sammy Hagar Van Halen. They do Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin. Wow. You know, they do a lot of shit. They just Montrose. They go through on the live album. It's pretty good.
Yeah. But getting back to the lineup, I mean, Billy Sheehan and Greg Bissonette, Steve Vai, who at this point had been in, his breakthrough was with Frank Zappa, and he did a lot of different work with Frank Zappa. I mean, he was on the Tinseltown Rebellion album, You Are What You Is. He was on a lot of those albums, those 80s albums. I mean, because a lot of Zappa's albums at that point were either recorded live and just basically taken from different points. Like, I think You Are What You Is was like the final album where it was a kind of an all studio album or whatever. But
okay.
But after that, I think it became a thing where he recorded. Some of it was studio, and then some of it was live parts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting and kind of weird. But I had Tinseltown Rebellion as an album. I had it back then. My old bandmates in my group Black Spotted Thunder back in around 1982, we used to sometimes hang around and play video games on my video machine. And I would play Frank Zappa's album Tinseltown Rebellion.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know how Steve Vai hooked up with David Lee Roth for this album? I
don't know how.
They were in a drunk tank in L.A. together.
Huh.
Yeah.
I almost said he got hooked up from the movie Crossroads, but I think that was how David Coverdale found him, was from the movie Crossroads, which is a great movie. I mean, I totally recommend you watch that.
I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
But he was also, I mean, prior to this band, I think he came out of, I believe he came out of Alcatraz right into this band, and then he left this band and went right into Whitesnake. So
yeah, he made the 2 albums with them, and then left. David was pissing off everybody because he promised Billy Sheehan that he would have more to do on Skyscraper, and he just pushed him out. Yeah. So Billy said, "Fuck you guys," and left before the tour. So
Billy.
Then he was replaced, I believe, by Greg Bissonette's brother, Matt Bissonette.
Yeah.
You
mean David Lee Roth was replaced by Matt Bissonette? That would have been interesting. I know I misheard you, but it sounded good for a minute.
But you know, Greg and Matt played on Joe Satriani album.
I like the Surfing the
Extremist. The Extremist.
Oh, okay.
I like Surfing the Alien. That's the one that I heard and I like.
I like all Joe's. All Joe.
I always figure that his playing is kind of like, should I play that extra note? No, I think I'll wait. That's how he sounds to me.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're ruining this guy's podcast. Let's get him back on track.
No, we're helping it.
It's fine. I'm totally loving this. This is great. But I was fixing to say about Joe Satriani. I mean, he's an artist. I wonder where he would have went if he would have actually joined Deep Purple when he like filled in for Richie Blackmore when Richie Blackmore left. That would have been
good.
I think it would have been good too.
Because like he totally. I mean, he was a serviceable replacement for Richie Blackmore. I think he did a very good job with a lot of the material. It's like widely bootlegged the shows and stuff like that. But I think they offered to join. Do what?
I'll have to find them.
But Steve Morris ain't no slouch, though, man.
Oh yeah, Steve Morris is great too.
He's good.
He's really good. I saw them with Judas Priest, and he kicked ass.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a trip. You actually saw Judas Priest with Steve Morris on guitar?
No, Deep Purple opened. Well, actually closed that show. It was a co-headline. Yeah.
But you saw them, right?
Yeah, I saw both of them. And my friend did no shit about Deep Purple. He was bored.
Damn it, I would have liked to see it.
I was all into the Deep Purple, and he was like, "What's this?" I go, "It's Deep Purple, man." He only knew Smoke on the Water. But he loved he went for the Priest and stayed for the Purple.
Well, quick before we get into the album itself, I mean, what is y'all's thoughts on, and this may be an actual future review, the Deep Purple album, Saints and Sinners? I mean, not Saints and Sinners, that's Whitesnake, good Lord. Slaves and Masters from 1990.
Oh, I like that album. Who's the singer on that one?
Jolene Turner.
I love that. I love Jolene Turner, man. I loved it in Ingve, too.
Yeah.
That's a great album. King of Dreams, man. I love that song.
Yeah. But
I actually heard it. I don't mind it. I think it's okay. I think when they did Perfect Strangers, when they got back, I thought that was the bomb. And then when they did House of Blue Light, I thought, well, it's not as much of a bomb, but it's still pretty good. And then with Slaves and Masters, I thought, well, maybe I'm not sure if it's worse, but at least I do like Jolene Turner. So that saved it for me.
Yeah, I like Jolene Turner and Rainbow also.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Stone Cold, all that stuff.
I even had a Jolene Turner solo album, which you probably never heard, and we might review one day.
I have a band with Jolene Turner called Sunburn. It's okay.
Oh.
But,
that went over my head, but never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, I actually told you an obscure band that you didn't know about.
Damn.
I thought it was some type of joke that I didn't get, actually.
No, he has two albums. It's Jolene Turner. For the first album, just called Sunburn, and the second album is called Jolene Turner Sunburn.
I've never even heard of it. Damn it! This episode can be Marc Beats Lee on obscurity.
There's a Jolene Turner album. I haven't heard it, but I know of it. It's called Rescue You it's right after he left Rainbow and stuff like that. And I haven't heard it. I've been meaning to listen to it. It seems like it'd probably be a good album.
I forget the name of it, but they had like a picture of his face on the cover, like it was a studio.
It.
Oh, okay. I don't totally remember it, even though I've heard it. So that tells you probably what I think of it.
Yeah, it had him like a kind of it was just him standing there posing for the camera, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. It was just him. It was his face on it. It said Jolene Turner. Run for cover.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay.
Or rescue you. My God, I get Gary Moore and all kinds of stuff confused. Man.
Hey, you know what? I'd rather that you be confused about good music than confused about shit music. Like, man, I love that sound. I love that song, Satisfaction, that ABBA did. Oh, ABBA didn't do guitars. I'm sorry. It was Harry Chapin. Oh, it was electric guitar. I'm sorry. The Rolling Picks. Oh, the Rolling Poofs. No, the Rolling you're not like that. I'm just going on a tangent. Oops.
Yeah. But get back to the album, man.
Okay. I think I will try to do that.
But I mean, this album, like I said earlier, it's kind of people's coined the term as this being or people calls this album the Lost Van Halen album. I think that's the perfect way to put this. I think he got a lineup, I mean, I don't want to sound, this may sound sacrilege, but I kind of somewhat think this is a musician-wise a little bit better than Van Halen. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, they all can hang together, but I think he got a band on the same kind of scale, or a little bit better than Van Halen. I mean, some great virtuosos at their craft, nonetheless. I mean, just overall a great band. I mean, we've done talked about the lineup, but of course, I mean, this album was compared a whole lot with 5150, which came out in '86, but well, the same year.
Which killed David's career because he tried to copy 5150 with Skyscraper with all the keyboards.
You'll say the same thing later on, but
yeah.
I mean, I love this album. I think this album is a perfect album from start to finish. This album actually was re-recorded in Spanish, and I'm probably gonna butcher what it's called. Sonrisa Salvaje, I think is how it's pronounced. That's how I heard it.
Something I don't know.
That's how I heard it pronounced on the Rock and Metal Combat podcast when they reviewed the album. That's the way Ralph Vieira said it. So I tried to copy that the best as I could, but I mean,
that's fine.
Bunch of singles on this album. I'm on Wikipedia looking this up, but
But while you're looking it up, I'll tell you I definitely agree with you, and you just did a brilliantly Gerstmann kind of quote by saying that they were better than Van Halen, because actually they really kind of were. Oops.
I kind of agree. This album is better than 5150, but I love 5150, so I can't really bitch about it. Any one of them.
But the single.
This sounds better than Diver Down.
Yeah, I love no little guitars. Oh no. I like Diver Down.
Yeah, I love Diver Down. I don't get the hate for that album. Well, I kind of do, because it's got a lot of covers on it and stuff like that. But I still think, I mean, even the covers they do, I mean, it's Van Halen through and through, regardless.
There's 4 covers on this album too.
Oh yeah. And there's actually was supposed to be another for this album actually too. But I don't know if y'all know that, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. But several singles from this album: "Going Crazy," which was the first single, "That's Life," "Tobacco Road," and "Yankee Rose." And another song on here I think should have been a single off of this album. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But went number 4 on the Billboard 200 in 1986. And I'm assuming this album, I don't see where it says it at, but I'm assuming that this album had to went platinum.
Oh, it did.
And as I know, it was a pretty huge success when it came out. And I mean, just overall, I mean, like I said, this to me is a perfect album. And let's go ahead and get into this album with the very first track. I guess on each track I'll swap it up. One of us will go first on each track or whatever. But the first track on the album, go ahead.
I just said all right.
Okay. But the first track on here, Yankee Rose. Love this track. Great opening track. Great video to this. I watched the intro to it before we did we're doing the review here, and I mean, get me a bottle of everything and a glazed donut to go. And my doctor said I had to take a laxative, and my ancestor spit on your haircut. Just iconic, like one-liners like that. I mean, just made David Lee Roth just who he is. I mean, just this kind of over-the-top, great rock frontman, and just kind of character all together, I guess you could say. And just a great song. The video is awesome, and the clips in the video, like at the beginning and stuff like that. And there's another video on this album that's very similar, but it's kind of it has it throughout the actual video itself. But this was actually supposed to be, this was going to be used for a movie that Diamond Dave was involved with. I believe it was called Crazy from the Heat. I could be wrong, or Go. I saw
you're right.
Going Crazy as well, but
it was the EP.
Yeah,
they were gonna name it Crazy from the Heat. He had a movie going on, and it just didn't come into fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah. The EP did, but not the movie.
No.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be with like CBS or something like that.
Something
And
like
then
that.
he even did his book, his autobiography, which I looked at, and I thought it was kind of cool.
I think I saw I don't know. I saw like the chapter. I believe it was chapter 1 of him reading it on YouTube. I've been meaning to go look at that. Right now, I'm in the middle of listening to Peter Criss's audio biography, his biography audio book, and
does a speaking voice sound better than a singing voice? No, I'm joking.
I think it's actually a robot voice, isn't it? It isn't him.
It is. It's not him. Somebody had to have one. They said they created it themselves, so they probably just either typed it up or like scanned it or whatever, or what. And
I'm sorry, but do you read books or do you mostly listen to books on audio? Just wondering.
Mostly
not trying to sound elitist, but
mostly listen. But I've been trying to get into reading and stuff like that, though. But
because I found that when I read the books, then that way I find that I get my own idea behind it. It's more of a personal imprint for me.
Yeah.
But if there's this one podcast, I don't ordinarily promote other podcasts on other podcasts, but if you listen to,
you don't even promote our podcast.
I know that. I don't even promote my podcast. But anyway, but if you want to hear certain reviews of the KISS podcasts, I mean the KISS books, Dystopian Book Club. If you look that up, DYSTOPIAN, Dystopian Book Club, and then go like Paul Stanley or go Peter Criss, or put in their names, and you'll hear some horribly funny, witty, and interesting reviews of those books.
Okay, I have to look that up. But
the reviews are almost as better than the books.
Yeah. Well, the Peter Criss book, I mean, it's good, but oh my goodness, is it? I mean, vulgar. Oh my goodness, I was listening.
Yeah.
And like some of the stuff he was saying, I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I've heard people say stuff like this, but I mean, this is a book by a 60-something-year-old man, and he's like, I mean, I'm not even going to repeat some of the stuff he said, because I mean, a lot of it more or less was just kind of disgusting. I mean, he went into a lot of experiences on the road and on the bus, off the bus, and everywhere on the bus. I mean, it's a good book. I mean, he gets detailed with a lot of stuff I wanted to hear about, but he also gets detailed with a lot of stuff that I really didn't want to hear about. But Paul's audiobook, I thought his book was really good. He kind of got whiny at times, but I'm gonna dive in next after I'm done with Peter's. I'm gonna dive into, they got Ace's audiobook and Gene's. I'm gonna get into that. But the robot voice to me makes it even more funnier and interesting that way. But getting back to the song itself, Yankee Rose, classic track. I would have loved, I mean, how when Sammy joined the band, they performed his solo stuff. When Diamond Dave came back in 07 or 06 or 07, it would have been interesting if Van Halen would have picked that song up and performed it. I would have really liked to see their interpretation of that song. I think that could have been very, very interesting. But I mean, whatever the case may be, I mean,
David Lee Roth's ego won't stand for that.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. It was written by David Lee Roth and Steve Vai, and then I was fixing to move to the next track, but you take it, Mark. What's your thoughts on Yankee Rose?
Yankee Rose is like a perfect start for this album. It's like freaking, I love it when Steve goes wah wah wah, and he goes what?
Yeah.
Well, let me roll up to this sidewalk and take a look here. He starts playing, singing. I was like so amazed that somebody was talking to their guitar. And then I went back and listened to Zeppelin and Aerial Speedwagon. They did the same thing with their guitars before David did that. So they were, I think, Aerial Speedwagon and those other bands were more innovators. But this is the first time I really understood it.
But right on, Mark. You said something that I couldn't have thought of saying, but I want to take it from you.
Well, it was like 157 Riverside Avenue where Gary's talking with his guitar, going, wah, 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 wah,
man, you're on a roll, man. You're gonna beat me at my own game.
Gary did that before Steve, but this song is freaking awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And I forgot to say that about him talking to the guitar. A great way to friggin' bring this band in. I mean, guess who's back in circulation? I don't know what you might have heard. Great song. And about the Statue of Liberty, nonetheless. So now you, Lee, take this track.
Oh yeah. I keep going up and down on it. It's not at all a bad track. I do like it, but sometimes when I listen to it, it sounds like, oh, do I have to hear it again? And other times I'm like, hell yeah, I want to hear this again. So I'm kind of now more in the hell yeah, I want to hear it again. It's a good song. It's just that it sounds like the kind of song that if the album was not good after it, this would have been the only good song, but that's not the case. There are good songs, in fact, some that I like even better. But I mean, this was, in my opinion, their focus on making a hit, but a good hit.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to say.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, a great opener. I had something else to say, and now I've completely forgot about it now. But
I'll remember.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a turkey sandwich, and it had mustard and cream. Never mind.
But I don't know if I actually said this at the beginning. When we were talking about your filthy little mouth or whatever. I actually, when I first did this album, this one actually didn't catch on with me. Like right at first, it took, I mean, of course, listening to it the past 2 times before this review, this album is to me one of my most favorite albums of all time. But initially, I thought Your Filthy Little Mouth was better than this album. But
you're very interesting. In fact, after we're done the review, I'm going to listen to that album because you're intriguing me.
God.
You're intriguing me with what you say.
No one ever needs to listen to that album. Okay.
But,
well, okay, you can listen to my lip rap. Blah, 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 blah.
But definitely, I will say this is by far to me his best album, and my opinion has definitely changed. I mean, looking back at it now, I'm like, what was I even thinking? This album, like I said, is the Lost Van Halen album. But then we move to the next track on the album, Shy Boy. This was written by Billy Sheehan and his previous band Talus. Great song, but I'm not going to go through it first. You take it, Lee.
Oh, this is pretty damn good. This is really hot. I wasn't able to really find the version by Talus. Maybe they did it and I just didn't get it on YouTube. If I
haven't
search,
heard it either, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look. But yeah, it's a very fast song. I think that this is, if David Lee Roth had wanted Billy Sheehan to write all of the songs on the album, it would have been a different album, but it might have even been a really good album because Billy Sheehan's songwriting style is really good. And this is a hot song. The playing is absolutely great. Okay, that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, now you take it, Mark.
Yeah, this is a killer track, and I I don't think they ever recorded it. I think it's always live. I think Billy Sheehan was the lead vocalist on this, the original version, because David says, "Hey man, I like that song Shy Boy you did in Talus. Let's do it on this album." So David told Billy, "I want to do that song." So really cool. I love this song. She's shy boy, give me more time. But I like the lyric where he says, "Gotta keep on moving till my personality starts improving." Like a killer track. Yeah. Great classic. Great class. It's a David Lee Roth song now. It's not even Talus anymore, but it's great.
Oh, definitely, and that may be the reason. Looking at it, because I really haven't seen the song. I've not seen it been called a cover or anything. So that may be the reason it was just simply performed live with Talus. And I don't know how long he was actually in that band prior to this being in this band or what. But yeah, I mean, Diamond Dave takes that song and makes it his own. Like I said, I haven't heard the original version. That was all you had to say, right, Mark?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't want to cut you off or anything, but yeah, classic David Lee Roth. You've got Billy Sheehan and Steve Vai tearing it up all through this song and album, and kind of borderline speed metal actually, and kind of has that similar kind of groove to Hot for Teacher in a way, and just a great song. Opened the tour for this actually. This was the opening song. I can't remember what they went straight into. I think if I'm not bad wrong, they went straight in from this into Tobacco Road, which is coming up here on the album. But after that, I think they dropped the song and it hasn't been picked up since. But this is another one I would have been interested to hear Van Halen do when he joined back with them. And also, I mean, Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan's done this song. I think it's called M3 is what they did together, and or G3 is what it was actually called. And Billy Sheehan sung that song live with them, and he's got a great voice. He was, I think, kind of a perfect replacement. He didn't have that kind of real high pitched harmony that Michael Anthony had, but I think he was a perfect replacement for Michael Anthony's kind of harmonies that they had together when Dave was in the band. But that's you guys got anything else for this track?
No.
Okay. Well, then we get into the next track, I'm Easy. I guess I'll take this one first again. Kind of this one would fit really well on Crazy from the Heat, because it's more of a bluesier, kind of a more loungier type track. I love this song. Like I said, very bluesy. Steve Vai has some great guitar work on this album. And I mean, it's Diamond Dave through and through, just like Just a Gigolo and stuff like that on Crazy from the Heat. Great cover song. I've never heard the original version of it, but still just an amazing cover. And I believe this was performed live, I believe, on the Eat 'em and Smile tour as well as the Skyscraper tour. I think they brought it with them for that tour as well. But that's all I have to say. And now to you, Mark.
This is a great song. It's bluesy David Lee Roth, baby. I'm easy, I'm easy, I'm easy, I'm an easy man. I love it when he scats. It's like a scatting David Lee Roth song. Roth song. I mean, not rock. David Lee Rock. I mean, Roth. This is a great track. I really do love it. It's really cool. It's one of his cover tracks on here. Well, one of four. Really, 2 of 4, because we already did the Shy Boy, which is the cover track. That's a great song.
All Lee, right.
I'm waiting for you to say, "Hey, Lee, what do you think?"
I was just about to. Sorry.
Because I'm not a bull in the china shop. I'm a bullshitter in the china shop.
I had some whiskey, so I'm a little slow.
No, it's okay. It took me time to swallow my oops and ahs. No. This song is actually, if I remember correctly, I kind of like it more than Yankee Rose. And that's what I think caused for some people to get a little bit annoyed at me. But hey, I still like it. I think it's a good song, and if you've ever listened to Louis Prima and Keely Smith, this song is right up there with them. If you don't know who they are, just look them up and then find something, and then you'll understand. But they're from the 50s and early 60s. They were more like ooh what to do, what to do, what woo what woo what or whatever the hell it is. But it's good stuff. I like this song. Okay.
All right. That's awesome. And then we'll get into the next track, fourth track on the album, "Ladies' Night in Buffalo," with a question mark. I almost said exclamation mark, question mark, and night spelled like rock and roll all night, NITE. But you take this one first, Mark.
Oh, this song has a great groove to it. This is my favorite track off the album. I fucking love this song. It's like it has that boom, and he has that soft, raspy voice, in the middle of it, when it goes into wee, 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 and he goes, yeah, yeah, with Steve Vai playing. Fucking, this is a great groove. This is like fucking groovy blues, hard rock. This song rules. What do you think, whoever's next?
Well, whoever's next is me, I guess, because I'm boosting my way in. But but I think that, yeah, I also kind of agree that this is probably maybe the best song on the album. I find that even though it's subtle and kind of slow, it's very fierce, and they don't let up. And I think that this is the direction Van Halen should have gotten into with 5150 if they had decided to do it. That's what I think.
Definitely. And I totally agree with that. I mean, to me, 5150 is the logical progression from 1984 because keyboards were a lot more prominent. But I think if Dave would have stayed in the band, this probably would have been the album that we got. Because, because like, not Fair Warning. Well, it was either Fair Warning or Diver Down was the one where he started really trying to include keyboards in the music and stuff like that. And like Diamond Dave said, you're a guitar player. That's the way it needs to stay. I think since 1984 was kind of Eddie's album, I really think this is probably the album we would have gotten if Diamond Dave would have stayed in the band. Maybe a kind of a middle ground in between this and 5150, but Ladies' Night in Buffalo. Was you about to say something, whoever it was?
No, I was just gonna say that. And what does David like to play every time he goes on a show? He likes to play Jump.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yep, definitely.
Okay.
But Ladies' Night in Buffalo. I mean, Mark, you totally aced what I was going to say, or mirrored what I was going to say on this song. The groove takes this song. I mean, it's just David Lee Roth. I mean, he done a lot of songs like this on later albums. Like the title track, "The Skyscraper," was kind of in similar vein. What else? "Tell the Truth" off of "A Little Ain't Enough" was like that. "Experience" was all, and "Sunburn" was like that off of your filthy little mouth, as well as "Black Sand" and "If 6 Was 9" off of DLR Band and Diamond Dave. Just a great song, and really I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. I mean, you two have pretty much said what I was going to say about this particular track. I mean, just a great classic, slow, kind of more bluesier kind of Diamond Dave track. Lyrics is Diamond Dave through and through. The guitar playing is just excellent all the way through the song. The solo is one of the best Steve Vai songs on the album. I mean, Steve Vai solos on the album, excuse me. But and I'll just let you know, I get my words tied up sometimes as well.
Hey,
but,
I do too. In fact, sometimes I accidentally call Bon Jovi. I call them piece of shit. But then I realize I actually use the right word.
Yeah, I've heard some of the episodes before where you said that.
Yeah. You hear it again right now.
Yeah, but if you heard the Bon Jovi episode, he
Hey,
actually
shut
liked
up!
that.
But yeah, just a great song. I love this track. I believe it was performed live. I believe this whole album pretty much performed in its entirety, kind of broken into pieces, mixed in with Crazy from the Heat and classic Van Halen stuff. But overall, just a great track. And then we move to the next track, Going Crazy. Probably as closest to 1984 as we get on this album. More kind of this gives me a jump vibe to it. Just overall, a very good song, very perfect kind of pop rock song, very great mid 80s kind of summertime song. I mean, you on the beach, and this whole album has kind of this summer feel to me. And I mean, you're on the beach, you have this album playing, and I mean, just overall a great song. And the video is just even greater. I mean, the Picasso brothers. I mean, awesome track. Now you take it, Mark.
Yeah, that's a great song. And you said Beach Feel. This album reminds me of Van Halen too.
Definitely.
That's a total beach album. Yeah, this song is awesome. The video is hilarious. I just like the way David Lee Roth's phrasing. Here I'm rolling down another sunny highway, been in the sun too long. I'm going coconuts, but at least I'm going my way. I just love his sarcasm in this fucking song. It's so great. I love it.
Like the cowbell with install that or
whatever.
Oh
yeah, it's like a pop pop pop. Freaking just killer. It's like you get Will Ferrell in there. More cowbell. No, I'm joking. It's freaking killer. I love this song. Lee?
I don't like it as much as you do. I don't dislike it, but I find that it's to me more like one that he should have sneaked over to Van Halen when they were doing 5150 and tell them, quick, you do this song. I don't want it around me. It stinks. Yuck. Kind of like that. That's how I feel.
Okay. But this was written by David Lee Roth and Steve Vai. So great song. To me, a perfect pop pop rock song. And I said earlier actually that I was going to talk about a song I thought that should have been a single off the album. I really think Ladies Night in Buffalo should have been one of the singles off this album. I think it has kind of
I agree.
And probably you see your favorite track was Ladies Night in Buffalo. My favorite track is mine's probably Yankee Rose. But then we get into the next track, Tobacco Road. When I was warming up trying to review this and stuff like that, when I do reviews, I kind of go through what I'm going to say and kind of map things out in my mind about how I'm going to do stuff. And I kept leaving this track out of what I was reviewing. But Tobacco Road. You take this, Lee.
It's okay. When it comes to versions of this song, this is probably better than some, but maybe not as good as others. I do kind of like Edgar Winter's version better, even though there's a part where he just keeps singing like Tobacco Road, and he keeps going on. It's like, will you shut up? So David Lee Roth is a little better for not doing that, but I kind of like some other people's versions a little better, but I do think that it's still one of the better songs off of this album. Okay.
All right, and I've actually never heard any other version of this song. This is the only.
Wow. So, they did about maybe 100 different versions.
Oh yeah, this is an old song.
Yeah, I've heard it's been covered by multiple people, but because
maybe you're lucky by not listening to the others. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree.
I play at a place, and of course I'm in Alabama and stuff, but I play at a place and they play mostly older country music, stuff like that. But this guy, he had this song. He knew how to play it and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, the only reason I know this song is from David Lee Roth. He was like, "You talking about Van Halen?" I said, "Yeah, Van Halen." He said, "Huh, I've never heard that before."
Wow.
Yeah, you take it, Mark.
Oh yeah, I love this song. I like. I love David's tone on this. I love Steve Vai's playing on this. I love Billy Sheenan's bass. This song grooves for me. I love this. I remember I was listening to this and my mom go, "Oh, that's an old song." I go, "It is." I've heard a lot of versions of this, and this one still stands out to me. I love it.
All right, and yeah, I love it too. Great song, and I mean, Steve Vai rips on this song. Some great solo work and guitar work by him on this album. Overall, a great song, and I'm gonna look up at least the Edgar Winter version.
Yeah. And in fact, if you want to hear some good old Southern stuff, Edgar Winter's White Trash, the album Road Work. That's just a good album just to hear if you're from Alabama and you go to clubs where they play it live. This I think would be at least homework, in my opinion.
And actually, I mean, I'm from predominantly around people who are their prominent genre of music is country. I'm actually not the biggest fan of country music. I like
that ain't no problem. That's no problem.
I like country music, but I mean, what I was raised on and stuff like that is actually more hard rock and stuff like that. And the Rock and Metal Combat they turned me on to a whole bunch of different stuff, like Coverdale Page.
That's a great album.
White Snake, all kinds of stuff like that. I mean,
Coverdale Page is like a forgotten album for a lot of people. They need to go back and listen to that shit.
Definitely. It's a great album. Shake My Tree, Pride and Joy, Take Me for a Little While. Just a great
album. Lee, you've never picked that album. You love Jimmy Page.
I like Jimmy Page Outrider. I like that better.
No! I bought that on tape. I think I listened to it once and put it away and never listened to it again.
You have to listen to it again. It's a good album.
I'll try, because there's albums I haven't listened to. Like Van Halen 3. I bought that on CD and then put it away and didn't listen to it for 10 years. And I started listening to it the last 6 years and I love it now. So it happens. You change your mind.
Hey man, I heard Jimmy Page live. I got the live I downloaded it from YouTube, the live songs that he did on the concert I was at. So if any of you want them, I can email you that show's concert.
Okay, but I watched the Live Aid concert by Led Zeppelin because I was like reading about like the lost Led Zeppelin reunion that was supposed to happen around that point.
That was horrible.
It to me it wasn't that bad, but I could tell that Jimmy Page had
not been good.
Different substances before going out on stage for that, and
they tried to blame Phil Collins for that. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah. And,
the Atlantic Records anniversary where they were at, I think that was even worse. He tried to do the solo for Heartbreaker, and I was like, what the hell is he doing? Trying to make an energetic, like the Energized Bunny go quack? What the hell?
The best reunion is a Celebration Day. That was great. Awesome. That was great.
Yeah, and I was reading like Tony Thompson was the person they picked. That would have been interesting if because like they asked Phil Collins, but Phil Collins couldn't do it, and then they asked Tony Thompson, and I think how it fell through from what I read was that like Tony Thompson was in a car accident. And they right then and there, they said, this is a bad omen. We don't need to do this. So they basically. Great.
Another bad performance on that day was the Power Station with frickin' no Robert Palmer.
Yeah.
I like Michael DeBar, though.
But he was bad in the Power Station.
I didn't think so, but oh well.
Okay.
But
I'll have to hear it again.
Maybe
I'll change my mind.
Oh man,
go on.
Go ahead.
No, I said maybe I'll change my mind. That's all I'm saying.
Like I saw a comment, they said Queen done one of their most iconic performances of all time, maybe their most iconic performance, and Led Zeppelin done one of the worst things they have ever done in their life.
Yeah, I remember that whole day MTV kept talking about the I'm going off topic, but they kept talking about the Bruce Springsteen. Maybe he's going to show up because he lent his lighting rig to the Philadelphia show. Maybe the E Street Band and Bruce Springsteen are going to come up. They never did. And I was like, fuck, I like Bruce Springsteen. I was wanting to see him.
Yeah. I think Clapton's set for that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good.
He had Phil Collins with him, and that was Behind the Sun at that point. But
Duran was really good too. So
yeah. But, I was actually talking. I mean, I'm actually I talk like I'm older than what I am, and I actually
that's good.
I feel like I'm older than what I am, but I'm only 18.
Dang.
I thought you were like 27.
And also U2 was awesome too.
Yeah.
I thought you were 27.
No. I'm only 18. I just graduated high school like 2 weeks ago, and
well, you had good music around you, I guess.
Yeah. It was the way I was raised. I was raised on old music. I mean, I was telling Lee prior to recording and all, like the most new music that I know is like newer music that older artists do. There's
a lot of newer bands you should listen to. You should listen to Crowbot, Rival Sons. A lot of good shit out there, dude. Try Crowbot and Rival Sons, man. Those bands are freaking awesome. Yeah,
I've been liking a lot of the stuff, like y'all do the new artist spotlight or whatever at the beginning of y'all's show and stuff. I like that quite a bit. I like a lot of stuff y'all pick.
I'm glad that we stopped that though.
Yeah, Lee was having problems finding new artists that he liked, so we stopped it.
Yeah, I meant older episodes. Like I was listening to what's the episode y'all did? I'm trying to think of what episode it was now, but
I'll tell you, it was Wishbone Ash.
Yeah, I listened to the Ozzy Osbourne No More Tears episode. Yeah. And
I don't even remember that.
That was a great album.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought.
That's a great one.
You should also listen to a new band called Starcrawler. We played them on the new artist episode. They're pretty good.
Okay. But
you're remembering all these groups that I don't even know of.
You said you like Starcrawler.
Well, I forget what I say after I say it.
It's a female lead singer, so you should love it.
I probably like. Yeah, I'm kind of remembering.
I got their debut album. They have a new album out, and I haven't bought it yet. I need to get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I was raised mostly around, and even in school, like. People, they asked me, they said, how do you listen to the same old stuff all the time? I said, because that's the type stuff I love. I said, that's all I know pretty much is all those older bands and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I mean, there's like, cause see, people tell me all the time, like I look older than what I am. There was like a person, see, I was in marching band and stuff, and we went to like a competition. And this guy walked up to me, he said, hello, how are you doing, sir? I was like, I'm doing okay. How about you? He said, you mean to tell me you're part of the band? I said, yeah. I said, I'm like, at that point I was like 17 or so. And he said, you look like a 30-year-old cop off duty. I was saying, well, I'm 17, but thank you.
Wow. You sure said you're under arrest just to see what he'd say.
And but yeah, where are we even at on this?
I think we're on Elephant Gun, unless you talked about Tobacco Road already, Devin.
Wow, you're actually on point. You remember. You're better than us.
Okay. I'm enjoying this, by the way. This is awesome. I'm very much enjoying this. But I think I covered Tobacco Road good enough. I thought it was a very good song, good cover. And then we'll go to the next track, Elephant Gun, Fast and Furious. David Lee Roth kind of has that Hot for Teacher drum groove, kind of that shuffle groove. And overall, just a great, great song. And you got Billy Sheen, and he does a little solo in the middle of it, which is awesome. And yeah, this was written by David Lee Roth and Steve Vai. Just overall a great, great song. So now you take it, Mark.
I love this song. Don't point that thing at me. I
Yeah.
love the freaking groove of this track. I love the drums on this. This is a fucking great Vi. This is Vi at his best on the lead. Freaking David's lyrics are just so fucking David. I love it. What do you think, Lee?
I think it's good, but I think I kind of don't like it as much as I should like it. I think that it's just a little bit weird, but not maybe in the way that I always like. But I wouldn't necessarily skip it. It's just, to me, it's like that weird thing you find in the junk store. You think, do I need to buy this purple penguin? No, I don't. But it's still all right.
But you said something's weird, dude. Okay, just saying something. You like weird shit.
Yeah, I know, but I still know what it is.
If it's too weird for you, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with the weirdo in me.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
It's all right.
But great song, and I believe this was performed on the tour for this album. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, once again, like you said, David Lee Roth's lyrics on point throughout this whole album and this song. I mean, just great. And I had something else to say, but then I've done forgot about it. But then we go to the next track, Big Trouble. Speaking of Roth's lyrics, one of the best and off the wall songs on this album lyrically. But you take it first, Lee.
I think this is the other song that I don't really love quite as much, that I kind of think is, even though it's not like Elephant Gun, it's kind of not necessarily awesome. I think it's kind of okay. It sounds like it could have been an outtake from Fair Warning, but not quite as good. But it's still not a bad song. I'll still listen to it, but to me, it just seems a little bit like a filler tune, like they put it on at the last minute. That's what I have to say.
Okay. And now you take it, Mark.
What are we on? Big Trouble?
Yeah.
Big Trouble's a cool song, man. I like this song. You're looking for trouble. Real kind. A dime a dozen. I'm not doing the lyrics right, but you get the gist. This is a great song, man. There's not one bad song on this album. And I didn't even study for this album because it's so good. It's ingrained in my DNA. I love this album.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I was gonna say also, Elephant Gun to me is kind of the sister song to Shy Boy on the album. But
yeah, the bass playing is like totally kicking ass on that song.
Yep. Oh yeah. But Big Trouble, the groove sells it for me. Great groove on this song. Love this track. And I mean, I can't say too much else about it. I mean, the lyrics is like such and such and Mighty Mouse and like, well, I'm trying to think of some more
Jerry
lyrics.
Blue and Mighty Mouse. I love that.
And then some folks said he died, but I know he didn't go to heaven and stuff like that. I mean, he's a very great visual lyricist. I mean, him and Dio, they're both very visual lyricists with their stuff.
Ride the Tiger. What the fuck is Ride the Tiger? You see his stripes, but you know he's clean. What does that mean? Fucking Dio, you had to die before I could ask you that question. All right.
I like Jefferson Starship's Ride the Tiger.
I like Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, Ride the Tiger.
Yeah.
But Big Trouble, great track, and then we move to the ninth track on the album. I'm not sure where the vinyl was split. I'm assuming it was split dead in the middle between Going Crazy and Tobacco Road.
Going Crazy was the end of side 1. Tobacco Road was the beginning of side 2.
Okay. That's what I. But I mean, the next track on the album, Bump and Grind, very sleazy track, very sleazy groove. I mean, just full of kind of double entendre lyrics, I guess you could say, by Dave. Just awesome track. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Just a great sleazy DLR classic. And yeah, maybe it may be probably my least favorite on the album, but I still really enjoy the song. Just a great track. And now you take it, Mark.
Oh yeah, this is a killer track. This is like Daily Roth sleaziness, man. Freaking love it. This song rules. I shake it slowly, make it bump and grind, rotate slowly. Freaking this could have been a Van Halen track, like on Diver Down. This is freaking a great track. I love this song. What do you think about it, Lee?
Yeah, I do dig it. I think after the last two songs, this one's like now they're back on track again and they're doing good. And I'm thinking this is close to being almost one of the best songs on the album. All right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All righty, and then we get into the grand opus of this whole album, the final track on the album. I believe a cover of the Frank Sinatra song, That's Life. You take it first, Lee.
Oh, I do like it. I'm not going to say it's the best song on the album, but I do think that it's up there with the stuff that he did on the EP Crazy from the Heat, and I do like it. And I do think that it's good as a last song. It's pretty interesting. To me, it's a good way after listening to a lot of the rock stuff. You kind of cool down by listening to something a little less rock, but still kind of jazzy and hip. So that's my idea.
Okay. And well, I love the track. Awesome closure to the album. I love the video to this. I mean, it's really it's kind of the perfect conclusion for that era of the band, because it's like a collage of different of the different videos. Some stuff from Van Halen put in there, but also I'm assuming it's like outtakes from some of the video shoots, along with stuff from the video shoots. And Diamond Dave comes out at the beginning. He says, "I'm here today to tell you about something called life," and then enters and then the song comes on. I love this song. The strings on it, I love all of that. I mean, it just plays a good effect. It plays a good effect on the song, and I mean, perfect for David Lee Roth to cover. I'm not real sure if this was actually performed live on the tour or not. I do know it was picked back up when he did like the Las Vegas stint on in like 95 or whatever. But because I've heard a bootleg of that, and it was okay. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but yeah, I love this song, and video's great, and just overall, and this, like you said, Lee, this would fit really good on Crazy from the Heat. And that's pretty much all I have, I think, for this particular song. And now to you, Mark. What do you think of this track?
I think this is a great ending song for this album. I love it. I lip-synced it on Facebook until they took it down, saying I stole it. It's a great song, man. I love it.
Okay. And there is a bonus track, but it's never been actually released, so it's really not a bonus track. But it was a cover song. Do you guys know about this? It was a cover of the Kim Mitchell song of Max Webster, Kim Mitchell's "Kids in Action." Did y'all know about this?
I never heard of it before. You're the first who's told me about it right now.
Okay. What about you, Mark?
Have you heard it before?
No, I haven't heard it.
Oh, I mean, Devin. but either one.
It's actually never came out to the public.
Go for it. Oh, okay.
It's never came out to the public. There is like a demo session bootleg out there. I've heard parts of it. It's whatever. But this was recorded for the album, and from what I understand, it was basically pushed off the album. I think partly due to time constraints, but also I think they wanted Tobacco Road on there as well. So
I might have interrupted Marc a little bit.
No, I just said I didn't know it.
Oh,
okay. But yeah, that's.
And then I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's good. That's good. Okay. But it says like they called Billy Sheehan. He was like a member of Max Webster for like, according to this, like 1 week or so or something like that. And it said he was in the band for about 3 weeks, but it didn't work out. There was no hard feelings, but he went on and did really well afterwards. But it said, Ken Mitchell said, I got a call from him one day and he goes, "Hey man, I'm in the studio with David Lee Roth, Ted Templeman, and Steve Vai, and we're covering your tune, Kids in Action, and we need the words to the second verse of it." And he said, I was sitting there shaking on the phone, and he said, then at the last minute, he said, I was shaking on the phone, and this was he said this was right after David Lee Roth left Van Halen, and he said at the last minute they bumped the song off the album in place of Tobacco Road, and he said it was just because they needed some darn covers again. So, but they said it's never been released to the public. I don't even know. I mean, David Lee Roth probably has it somewhere in the vaults, but I would be interested to hear that track. I mean, I've never heard the original version either, so I don't know. But yeah, the classic album. I mean, that's the end of the album, but classic album, and to me, the Lost Van Halen album that. It's the Van Halen album that never was. It didn't even have Van Halen on it, but just a great album. And what about y'all's final thoughts on the album, Lee and Marc?
Go, Lee.
Oh, I think that it's a good album. I'm surprised how good it was compared to what Van Halen was doing after David Lee Roth left. And I think that even though I also like Crazy from the Heat, I do think that this album, with a lot of originals, was actually a good thing to do next. And then with Skyscraper, I kind of feel like that was good, but let's not go even more pop. Let's kind of not do that, but at least with this album, it was with the right guys and the right sound. And that's my thought.
I agree with Lee on that 100%. I love this album. I think this album was great, and I think 5150 ruined David Lee Roth because that album went #1. David got jealous and tried to go more poppy with the next album. So David should have just stuck to his guns and did what he was doing on this album and not try to deviate, but he fucked up. This is his best album in his catalog, and it's so good. I like Filthy Little. I don't like Filthy Little Mouth. I love Little Ain't Enough. I love DLR album. I love Skyscraper, but everything else after that is just total trash to me.
In fact, one thing that I want to say quickly. One person had mentioned somewhere that, he was on Eddie Trunk, and he said, if you think about it, David Lee Roth came out with Crazy from the Heat, and then Van Halen came out with their album titled 5150, which is police jargon for crazy, and then David Lee Roth came out with Eat 'Em and Smile, and then Van Halen came out with OU 812, and then maybe David Lee Roth, well, maybe it stops there, but you know what I mean.
Well, for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, the abbreviations for it and then he puts out Your Filthy Little Mouth in '94. So
Yeah. I was thinking of that.
Were they all in on this together? No, I'm joking.
I think that they were doing it against each other.
Yeah.
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 But as far as like his solo career goes, we talked about it at the beginning of the episode. Crazy from the Heat's great. I mean, Just a Gigolo, Easy Street, California Girls. Coconut Grove is to me the kind of lost gem on that album. I love that track. Yep. This album, excellent. Skyscraper, I talked about it earlier. I like the album quite a bit. I think the production ruins the album. A little ain't enough. If it would have been put out instead of Skyscraper, and maybe he put Skyscraper out, maybe if when after grunge hit, maybe if he put that out to attract a different audience or whatever, maybe it could have done a little bit better. I mean, I don't know. Maybe his career would have done a little bit better is what I'm trying to say. But little ain't enough. I have some issues with the production at times, but I mean, he that's probably the last time where he has that classic voice and could do the classic screams and stuff like that. Your Filthy Little Mouth, I like that quite a bit. It has some pretty bad tracks, like the reggae song I didn't like on that album.
I don't like hardly any reggae, but go on.
Okay. But Hey You Never Know was okay, but it wasn't the best in the world. But yeah, I like that album. I like a lot more of the kind of bluesier tracks on that album. But DLR Band's great. I like the track on the Best Of from '97. That was really good. Or the David Lee Roth's Best Of. I like the two tracks that was on the Van Halen Best Of actually too.
Oh, I love those songs.
That's great, and I think those were musically from the Sammy Hagar sessions, weren't they?
I think so, but I also love the songs they put with Sammy, even Up for Breakfast on their other Greatest Hits album. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, Up for Breakfast, it's kind of, to me, got that so bad it's good kind of guilty pleasure type feeling to me. But
thing is, I don't have any guilty pleasures. If I like it, I like it. I ain't guilty about it, and you can't tell me I am. I listen to Wham, goddammit. I don't give a shit who knows about it.
Do you live way, 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 way far away from neighbors?
No.
Damn. Well, okay. They probably like Wham too.
I guess
it's not a neighborhood that I don't want to go to.
Yeah, I'll be blasting Club Tropicana for you, Lee.
Oh no.
But
the day Careless Whisper becomes a prog rock song is the day that I gargle
the best song Wham ever did was Everything She Wants. That song rules. All right.
DLR Band, I think it's where I left off. DLR Band's great. His voice is a tad bit shot on that album, but I can tolerate it. Diamond Dave I liked. I've heard it several times, but it's kind of more of a more under the radar album. And maybe he'll go back and put out some of the, like, there's a lost, supposedly there's like a lost album with Bart Walsh, who was like his guitarist in the late 90s, early 2000s. Rest in peace. He died here several months back. I was very, very surprised that he passed away. But there's supposedly an album out there with him, and I'd love to hear that. He said that supposedly it was like it was back to basics, classic Van Halen as well as like DLR Band. But that's all I have. Any of you guys got any more final thoughts on this?
No.
Nope.
All righty. Well, what about pick of the week? You guys got any picks of the week or anything? Movies, music, whatever. Lee, Mark.
Movies, you might want to see the movie. It was with Daryl Hannah, and who was the guy again? Aidan Quinn. Was it Reckless or was it?
Yes, I think it was Reckless.
Yeah, Reckless. I'd watch that movie, and for songs, I'd say mm, probably.
That's a good band. I like.
Damn it!
All right, great band.
Yeah, well, Deep Purple's "Woman from Tokyo." Why not?
Okay. You got an album too, Lee, while we're there?
Oh, an album. Listen to there's so many. How about listen to the first album by Bull Angus?
Okay. All right. Well, Mark, what about you? You got
you guys should all watch Married with Children. And also, Jack Russell's Great White just released Once Bitten Acoustic Bites. It's a Once Bitten album done acoustically. Really good. And they added Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. And also the 40th anniversary of Permanent Ways with the live on there. I love it. All right. That's good.
Movies. I mean, with me, I watch a lot of horror movies and stuff like that. That's kind of that's where I go to a lot, is horror movies and stuff. Oh man, I'm trying to think of a good movie. I got one. This is kind of more off the wall movie, but David Lynch's Blue Velvet. I think that would be. You can see Dennis Hopper going completely crazy throughout the whole movie. And,
like in Speed.
Okay.
It's a great movie. It has what's the guy? He was he was in I think it's the same guy. He was in Dune, I believe, and he was in Showgirls. My goodness,
Kyle MacLachlan?
Yeah, him. I believe he's in it. And Dennis Hopper.
Was it Nils Lofgren?
Nils Lofgren. That's a freaking singer.
Yeah, that's why
Bruce Springsteen's guitar player.
Yeah, that's why I wondered. Was that who you were talking about?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just overall, that movie's a great movie. That was at the time when like Dennis Hopper was making his comeback with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is amazing as well. But as far as an album goes, I'm going to pick Deep Purple's "The Battle Rages On" from 1993, the reunion with the Mark II lineup, whatever you want to call it. But great album. The title track's awesome. Anya, Twisting the Tail. Trying to think. Title tracks to me is classic Deep Purple. But it was originally going to be done with Jolene Turner, but they wanted Ian Gillan back. So basically, Ian Gillan came in and reworked a bunch of the songs that Jolene Turner had been working on, and you get The Battle Rages On. That's pretty much all I've got. I've enjoyed this quite a bit. I thank you guys for coming on the podcast.
Oh,
welcome,
thank you.
And maybe we can do this again soon. I very much enjoyed this.
All right.
No problem, man.
But
all right.
That's been the first episode of the Danger Zone podcast. I'm Devin Dunnigan, and that was Marc Alden Taylor and Lee Gerstmann. You guys want to say goodbye or anything before we end it?
Bye.
Yeah. Make sure to listen to our podcast, the Freeform Rock Podcast. If you liked our shenanigans, we do that every week on Fridays. This is Mark saying goodbye.
Yeah, I was going to tell you guys to tell us where we can find you at and all that.
Apple Podcast, iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. And you could also do a Google search and play the episodes also of the Freeform Rock Podcast.
All righty, but thank you guys so much for coming on here today, and that's been the first episode of the Dunnigan. My Lord, I'm talking about my podcast. I knew I was going to do it when we started the episode, but this has been the first episode of the Danger Zone podcast. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you very, very much for watching or listening. This will be up on YouTube and Anchor.fm podcasting platform. But also for me, go look up the Dunnigan Mott Music and Movie Podcast. My YouTube page, you can just type my name in, it should come up. Stephen Mott's YouTube page, which is the other host on my other podcast, as well as all my YouTube reviews. I've got a plethora of them, but totally enjoyed this, and just God bless you all. Stay safe out there, stay healthy, and see you next time.